Line's good.
Never on!
Whoa.
Hard! Release!
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham. Scott alongside, as always. Hello, Scott.
Sean, what's up? For those of you watching on, what is it, News Channel 8? I have a curling broom in the background of my shot, which can mean only one thing, that the season is over and I've brought all my gear home to be cleaned.
Yes, a long season for your gear, stuffed in a locker in the basement of the Ottawa Curling Club. Now it is home, ready to be laundered. Scott, how much of your stuff is launderable versus just you get rid of it at the end of the season?
Oh, it's all launderable, Sean. You know, everything is capable of being laundered. Whether it'll work, that's another story. But
Sure.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm disgusting. I do wash my pants like 2 or 3 times a year. In between draws, you know, or when we have a bye week, I'll bring the stuff home. Shirts more often than that. But I bring my shoes, bring my sweater, all sorts of stuff. So it's the end of the year. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, it is a little sad. We had our final event of the season over the weekend. Well, really over the week. The way this event works, it's the Gordie Perry Bonspiel at the Ottawa Curling Club. Big end of season spectacular. First time since 2019 that it's been able to run. We played with our parents, and our buddies Dean and Ryan also came in for a game. But this is something that we've done before. There's an out-of-town draw that only takes place on the second weekend, but the regular event takes 9 days, starting on the second to last Saturday of April, ends on the final Sunday of April. Occasionally, it's a day in May. But 3 games guaranteed. We won the first one, lost the next 2. I thought overall played okay. I felt good about how I threw it and had a good time. So a little disappointed in that final game, just a couple things here and there. And certainly I was disappointed in the second game. Had a draw to the button in the end of the game. It was tied, so it's a draw to the button between the skips. I happened to be skipping that game and just threw it a little too hard. So a couple mistakes here and there, but overall, Scott, I think it was a fun week for us.
Yeah, overall fun week. Nice to get out and play a little bit and have some nice memories to cherish.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, can you?
Sure can't.
No. You know what else you can't put a price on, Scott?
Oh, you want me to answer? Sherry Anderson's medal count. That's what it is.
Yeah, being Sherry F. Anderson. She wins again the World Senior Curling Championship. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about the mixed doubles. Sure, fine, whatever. We'll talk about the men's side of this too. But this is Sherry F. Anderson wins another World Senior Curling Championship over the weekend there in Korea. She is really, really, really good with Patty Hersikorn, Brenda Gertzen, and Anita Silvernagel. That is the team that wins. Sherry Anderson is just so crazy good at this. She won in 2018, 2019 as well. Kind of remarkable, Scott. She's not going to be able to be there next year to defend this championship because she did not get out of Saskatchewan this year. This is a real harken back to the olden days before Team Canada was in the Brier, where a team could, in theory, win a world championship, not make it out of their province next year. That's what's happened to Sherry Anderson here. But let's just talk about how good of a run Sherry Anderson has been on at the senior level, because it really is kind of remarkable.
Yeah, let's do it, Sean. She's won the Canadian Senior Championship 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2022.
Yeah.
There
wasn't one in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 5 in a row because there was none in 2020.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty effing good. And I believe, too, that this is the third straight World Senior Championship, because there wasn't one in 2020 or 2021, 22. I think I'm right on that. I could be wrong, though. But just an absolutely incredible run for Sherry Anderson. And I know we've mentioned this on the show before, Scott, but I asked her at the 2014 Briar, or the 2014 Scotty, excuse me, how long are you going to play, Sherry? Like, what keeps you going? She kind of looked at me quizzically of like, what a stupid question. I'm Sherry Anderson. I can do whatever I want. And that's really what's happened. And it's super fun. And I love every second of it. And I'm kind of bummed, that she won't be able to defend next year. But this is just, I don't know. It's a story that it's obviously a different level than what Silvana Tirinzoni has done, what Nika Dean did. That those streaks that the Dean one, of course, ended this year. Tirinzoni is still ongoing, but it's a really fun streak.
Oh yeah, big time. And there was no World Seniors in 2020 or 21. And then last year, Sherry Anderson was there, but lost out in one of those quarterfinal games to the USA. So, I mean, been there 4 in a row, 3 gold medals. Not too shabby.
Pretty doggone good for Sherry Anderson. And on the men's side, it was a sweep for Team Canada. Local to us, Howard Rahala and his team from the Rideau Curling Club here in Ottawa. They come out on top there, along with Rich Moffitt, Chris Fulton, and Paul Madden. So congratulations to those guys, and a sweep for Canada. There's a couple kind of funny tweets about the future is bright for Canada. We have a double gold medal. But really, really cool stories. Ottawa has been a bit of a powerhouse on the senior men's side here for a couple of years. Tough news for Dean, trying to break in this year. He's gonna, but he'll be the young guy. He could be the sweeper, maybe. So,
exactly. Got to earn it.
But yeah, so congratulations on a Canadian sweep there for the World Seniors. Should mention that Canada on the men's side, they beat Team Scotland, and the bronze medal there goes to the Swiss side. So congratulations to those guys. And then on the women's side, it was a repeat matchup where Canada, Sherry Anderson, they beat Scotland team Lockhart there, and the Japanese side, Team Kawamura, get the bronze medal. All right, let's move on to the other big event that was going on in Korea. That is the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. Scott, apparently, the United States has already submitted a request to the World Curling Federation to have all future major events held in Korea, because that seems to be their secret sauce for gold medals, as the Coreys win the mixed doubles. So you follow that up to the success they had at 2018 in Korea. Maybe there's something in the Korean water that does something for the American curlers.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. Really a lot of success there on the international level for the U.S. in Korea. Of course, this team, no stranger to mixed doubles, played really, really well. I think we've seen Corey play with John Schuster in the past, but everything came together this week for this team. I think they finished second in their pool.
They did. Yeah.
And to Japan, had to play the crossover, like the long grind to get through to the final, and beat Canada in the semifinals, and then Japan in the finals. Yeah. And it wasn't particularly close in the final either.
No, an 8-2 final. They steal the first 2 ends, steal 1, steal of 2, and then get a force, which, yes, that doesn't quite mean the same thing in mixed doubles as it does in the 4-person game. But then they get 2 in the 4th, steal in the 5th. So you're looking there at 6-1. And again, in mixed doubles, you can come back from that. Yeah. But that was not the case here.
The 5th end was Japan's power play too. So
yeah,
even on the power play to give up a steal, that's not going to be good for your long-term prospects in a mixed doubles game.
No, and if you look at the percentages, which again in mixed doubles, it's even harder to use the percentages as a good guideline. Chiaki Matsumura only at 45% there. That's really going to hurt you when you're the final stone thrower throwing 45% there in that partnership. Again, a lot of difficult shots, not really in good position through the course of that game. But yeah, you're gonna struggle there. And Tanita only threw 71%, whereas if you look at the Coreys, they were at 82 and 89% for a total of 86. So full fare for their victory there at the World Mixed Doubles.
Definitely. Well thrown game by the Americans in the semifinals too. I'm looking at the semifinal now against Team Canada. Both Americans over 90% in their shooting percentage. So tough to beat that when you're playing that well.
Yes, the bronze medal match, that was Norway and the Canadians, and the Norwegians come out on top in a real picket fence game there, Scott. All singles across the board, 6-2. The Norwegians beat the Canadians of Jennifer Jones, Brent Lang. So congratulations to Martine Ronin and Matthias Brandon. And they, again, outshoot the Canadians here by 20% in that game. Lots of steals, as is typically the case in mixed doubles. But I don't know, Scott. Norway had a really good world championship season here. That's a couple medals, playoffs in all of them. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good for Norwegian curling. And like you said a while back, maybe you didn't say it, maybe I made that up, but the Norwegian curling, like especially on the women's side, has been pretty down, since the days of Dorothy Nordby in the 90s. So to have the Skazlian team come out and do really well at the Worlds, then you had on the men's side too a very good showing at the Worlds, and now this, the future is bright for Norway, I think. Do you think?
Yeah. It looks like it. I mean, this is a really good year for them. It's 3 playoffs, couple medals. I think you got to be pretty optimistic, feeling good if you're there in the offices of Norwegian curling. That this was a really good season for them. And again, it's the start of a cycle. Maybe they can build some momentum. Maybe these results get them a little more funding from the Olympic organizations there, potentially maybe some advertising dollars, but maybe not. But just something to keep this momentum going, and having that success early in the cycle, I think is hopefully for them a pretty good sign.
Yeah, no doubt. And this team is pretty young, I think, too, that played in the mixed doubles. So
okay,
good place to build from.
Absolutely. So congratulations to all those teams. Scott, the playoffs overall, obviously we didn't do our preview here, but I don't think there was anything super surprising that came into it, with the potential exception of Constantini and Armand. They go 4-5. The Italians there maybe would have thought they would be a little higher over the course of the week. Elsewhere in Group A, you had Scotland as the other playoff team, along with Canada and Estonia. We talked about the Estonians last week. They ended up losing a game to finish 7-2. So Canada got that top spot straight to the semifinal. And it was Jennifer Dodds and Bruce Mowat also finishing 7-2 to make the playoffs. Really good result for Tally Gill and Dean Hewitt, the Australians. They go 5-4. Nice result for them. 2 games out of a playoff spot, but you kind of like to see that for the Australians. Elsewhere, nothing super surprising, I didn't think, there in Pool A. Over in Group Number B, the Japanese and the Americans and the Norwegians obviously are the playoff teams. We've talked about them. The Swiss side, they get WCF'd, if you will, with no tiebreakers. They go 7-2, tying with the Americans and the Norwegians, but they lose out on the head-to-head tiebreaker. So Breyer, Schwaller, Herleman, and Yannick Schwaller don't get a spot. Elsewhere in the pool, again, I think it kind of went a little to what you would expect. The Turkish side, maybe expect Dilsat to be higher, and it's just always weird to the eye to see the Swedish side under 500, with Therese Westman and Robin Hallberg going 4-5. But those are people who are relatively new to us, So not teams coming from the powerhouse Swedish 4-person squads.
Yeah, I don't think anything too out of the ordinary the rest of the way.
Down at the bottom of the pools, we do have some relegation. The Czechs, the South Koreans, the Hungarians in Pool A, the Austrians, Germans, and England in Pool B. There's a playoff for the relegation side. Ultimately, Germany and Austria lose those games. So there will be a re-up on how to get in for next year. And that is always kind of fun, I guess. But you have the top 16 teams are in to the event, and it was South Korea and the Czech Republic earned their spots back. So Germany is out, Austria is out, and Hungary's out, and England is out. So those 4 teams, the Czechs, the Hungarians, the Germans, and the English, will have to earn their spot back. The other 16 teams are in for next year, the 2024 World Mixed Doubles, when Olympic spots start to be on the line.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. The World Curling Federation website is really,
it's not good,
being terrible right now, and like it's just loading and loading and loading and loading. So I don't have much to react to that other than to say I think the teams that we expected to be keeping their positions did. There's no real surprises to who's going down.
Maybe a little surprising that Germany is out.
Yeah, maybe a little surprising, but they had to play the Czechs, as you say, who are, pretty good in their own right. I don't think it's like a lopsided matchup either way.
Sure.
When those two teams get together. So, yeah, that's that was sort of how I saw it.
There you go. So there you have it. Those are the results from the Mixed Doubles World Championship there in South Korea. Scott, I like the idea of Saturday finishes.
Saturday finishes, yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, because it gives us some time to digest over the weekend, and really, gives teams a chance to go home.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I think I like it.
So Scott, let's try to put this into some level of perspective. Not quite a Vic Router level of perspective, but for the Americans that we've seen since 2018 a struggle to recapture that success. And obviously what John Schuster did was remarkable, but also perhaps very unexpected. And since then on the world stage, they haven't had the results that I'm sure they would have wanted as a country. But here's a world championship on the mixed double side, 2 players who are part of the 4-person squads. Certainly that if you look at Dropkin, their branding or his team's branding has been very good as the Young Bucks. And Corey Teese, her squad, who she plays with, they've kind of taken the reins on the women's side as the best team in the country. Here they are together as the 2 Coreys playing in the mixed doubles. They've had success. Again, very good social media presence for the 2 of them for this particular team. And now a world championship on top of it. It's not the same as the Olympics, certainly. I'm still not entirely sure where the mixed doubles sits with the average fan and whether or not this holds. I think it's clear that it holds less weight to the average fan than the 4-person game still at this point. But I think there's some cachet to it. So I'm curious moving forward, how can we put this into context for USA Curling? How significant of an achievement is this for them? And do we see that there is a possibility moving forward for USA Curling to use this, put Corey Teese, Corey Dropkin, maybe not the same type of promotional system that Team Schuster was in, but heading through the summer into next year, do we see a lot more of them? Do we see them out there being put out there by USA Curling to try to take advantage of, let's be honest, what is a pretty significant win?
Yeah, I think coming out of the year that USA Curling has had, or the last 2 years that they've had, this is a pretty significant championship. Being able to put on your nation's resume a world championship in a discipline that is gaining momentum. It's an Olympic discipline, right? So it has cachet. As much as we've lauded Sherry Anderson at the senior level, it's much more important, I'd say, than the senior championships. So yeah, I think you stick that feather in your cap. You look at how you got there, right? How the team was put together, what the training regimen was.
Sure.
And you keep trying to replicate that at the four person game. Sports is sports, right? I don't know if you saw Antetokounmpo after the Bucks lost, Sean, in his press conference.
Yeah.
A reporter asked him, "Hey, how do you deal with this failure as a team?" And he said, "You know what? Like, we lost. We didn't fail.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to lose. Every game there is. Somebody wins, somebody loses, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So if the goal of every country is to get a gold medal, well, then a lot of teams are going to fail by that definition, right? So taking what good lessons you learned from this event, not necessarily the results on the ice, yes, those were what we wanted, but what went into them, and try to replicate that. And by doing that, you can create a program that over time will win more than it doesn't, right? By establishing the good routines, good practice habits, all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, like the Olympics was a bit of a holy crap, we won the Olympics. Like, we weren't expecting it, especially after the first 5 games, right?
Yep.
So maybe for that, there wasn't as much to learn from the process, right? It was sort of like John Schuster got hot for 6 days,
5 days, yeah.
So yeah, like this can probably be traced back to that gold medal in starting the program down the road to getting results. But looking at how everything worked in tandem, I think, is the way that this is going to help benefit USA Curling as a whole going forward. Yeah. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it's interesting, right? Yeah, the idea of the support system around the players. What do they need in order to be successful? And again, I think one of the things that comes out of this particular event, we've seen it more and more, I guess, over the past few years, or since mixed doubles became an Olympic discipline. When you look at the teams here who are having success, like the two Coreys play 4-person at a high level. Scotland, Jennifer Dodds, Bruce Mowat, obviously at the high level. Jones and Lang, 4-person. So you just look around, the majority of teams who are successful are teams that are high level 4-person players coming in to do the mixed doubles. So I still kind of wonder about, do you need 2 streams at all? Or can you just take 2 people who are playing this other and say, all right, like, play a couple events here and there. We'll have our national championship and go play. Part of me wonders how much of that is related to the increased randomness of mixed doubles versus the 4-person game, which we've seen a little bit statistically in terms of scoring, that kind of stuff. It's you're going to have results that are not as consistent as in the 4-person game. So, for me, it's a question of, do you need to alter what you're doing in terms of a mixed doubles discipline, or does this kind of reinforce, have a really good 4-person program, and then within those 4-person programs, men's and women's, you have people who have a really good relationship, who can vibe off each other on the ice, put them together, play some events, go have a good time, try to win. Like, that's kind of what I wonder about with this. And if I'm USA Curling, that's, I think, maybe my takeaway is develop 4-person players, really good 4-person players, and you can make them into mixed doubles players, or they can become really good mixed doubles players, as opposed to mixed doubles players becoming 4-person players. It seems to me that is the nexus here, that if you can play at the 4-person level at a really high level, unless maybe you're a lead, but maybe if you're elite too, I don't know. You can play the mixed doubles game, and I don't know if people who are coming through exclusively as young players, we've seen internationally come up only through the mixed doubles game. I don't know how well that translates to the 4-person game in terms of success.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I think when the WCF decided that it was going to make mixed doubles an Olympic discipline, all that kind of stuff, the idea was that, for the countries that don't have enough players to form 4-person teams, this will be their path, right?
Yeah.
To be able to compete at the Olympics. And but you're right, we haven't seen that mixed doubles specialist teams really doing really, really well. I think of the Swiss and the Norwegian teams in 2018 doing quite well, but also they have been proven to be pretty good 4-person players as well.
Sure.
So yeah, that's a really interesting point. Make me
and
think.
just the way it's set up now too, that going to just 20 teams as opposed to when it was everybody who wanted to sign up could come and play in the World Championship. That has, I think, altered things a little bit too. So the idea that mixed doubles is the entry point now for all these countries, the way the rules have been set up and the level of play that I think has been increased from, say, the first World Championship in 2012 or 13, whenever it was, hasn't quite been this panacea for access to play for new countries who have just joined the WCF. So
yeah, for sure. And we heard Brad Gushue when he was playing with Kerry Anderson saying, like, if you can make shots, you can make shots. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. It's not like different at mixed doubles. So
sure.
Yeah, you're right.
So again, I don't know what kind of takeaway that is for USA Curling or for anybody else, but a nice win for our neighbors to the south. So congratulations to the 2 Corys. Congratulations to all the medalists. But you are all living in Sherry Anderson's shadow. Never forget.
Never forget.
Yeah. So with that, we'll say thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you have not yet, please do subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts, likes, rates, comments, all that good stuff helps other people find the show, keeps us growing. You can always head over to GameOfStonesPod.com. All of our past episodes are there, plus a link to the merch, dad hats, hoodies, cups, all sorts of stuff there on the merch site. If you want to reach out, let us know what you want to hear on the show. Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram at Game of Stones Pod, Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. And we will be back with you again next week. But Scott, now that it's the off season, what's the first thing you're going to do with your Mondays off?
Well, I'm going to go tomorrow, do a sleep trial.
Ooh.
To see how loud I snore.
Sure.
And then maybe I'll get a CPAP machine to help my loud snoring.
Okay. There
Pretty
you
good,
go. Really, really living it up.
Yeah. All the fun can't keep going all year, right?
So if you're out at a sleep clinic, sleep well. For those of you who are not, have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you again next week. But until then, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that insert.
Make the final.